Hi, welcome to Grab Your Keys. Remember to share and like this podcast if we talk about something that interests you. So I'm Sue Meitner, and I'm here with my dad, Vic Meitner. And I thought for our special 50th episode, it would be great if I got to interview my dad and mentor, Vic Meitner. So, Dad, what do you do?
I'm a country lawyer.
What does that mean?
It means I practice law. I handle all kinds of cases. For 25 or 30 years, I did mostly criminal litigation and then some civil litigation. And then for the next 25 years, I did primarily civil litigation. And now the last maybe 5 or 10 years, I've been doing a lot of estate planning, handling estates, and I would say a little bit more quiet type practice of law.
Right. So, in real estate, why is it important to think about when you own a house, having a lawyer and doing estate planning as you get older? Why is that? Or even once you own a house, why is it important to start thinking about all those things that you might need an attorney for?
Well, the purchase of real estate is probably the most expensive thing you'll ever buy. It's more expensive than a diamond ring. It's more expensive than a fur coat. And it's usually hundreds of thousands of dollars and sometimes even more than hundreds of thousands, 6 and 7 figures to buy a house. So when you're buying the most expensive thing you're ever going to buy, you better make sure that you have good title, that you get what you bargained for. That is, that there are no defects, and that your inspections are properly handled. But primarily that there are no defects in the title. And only a good, experienced real estate lawyer can examine your title, the title report, examine all the um, uh, comments to the title commitment, all the recorded documents, easements, and other restrictions on the property. So it's very important when you're buying this most important asset that you have a lawyer represent you. Same thing applies when you're selling that piece of property. And I'm not selling that you don't need realtors. You do need realtors. Realtors are most important in the sale. They're the ones who find you the buyer or find you the house, depending on whether you're a buyer or seller. But the lawyer protects you, only you, because the lawyer represents you as his client.
So, after you own the house, is it important to have an attorney for anything else once you own the house?
Yes. Well, yes. If there's all kinds of things that come up in life, there's divorce.
Phone calls? Divorce?
I don't want to talk to them.
Divorce?
Yes, divorce, death, disability, separation, all kinds of things happen to you in life. And at all these junctions or crossroads, in most cases, you need a lawyer to help sort through and to protect you from the other party. And in that case, you may need two different kinds of lawyers. You may need an estate planning lawyer, and you may need a divorce lawyer.
Right.
So, yes, lawyers are always in demand.
Yeah.
And
So
probably will remain so for some time.
you would think. Have you enjoyed being a lawyer?
So it's the most fun thing I could do. Yes.
And I think you enjoy it mostly because you enjoy people and hearing about their experiences and solving problems and that kind of stuff.
I think the reason I like it the most is because I try to help people solve problems.
Yeah.
That is the main goal. Solve problems and keep people out of court.
Right.
Because
or jail.
Or jail. Because once you're involved in the legal system, the court system, it gets very expensive, time consuming, and really, uh, in virtually all cases, not much good comes of going to
Everyone
court.
loses.
So, lawyer's first job is to protect you and keep you out of court.
Right. So, so besides being a lawyer, you're a husband, a dad, a grandfather, uncle. You have a big family. We have a big family. So, what do you think that you would tell your children and grandchildren and everybody else? What do you feel your 3 keys to success are?
The most important things are love what you do. So that's number one. If you don't love it, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, try something else. That's the first key. The second key is to be prepared. There's no substitute for being prepared or ready for what comes at you. And the third thing, and it's easy to say but hard to do, is work hard.
So, how do you, I mean, how do you, if you, do you think that you can fall out of loving what you do at times?
Yeah, there's always time. Yes, there are always times when it becomes tedious, when it becomes you wonder why you're doing it. But overall, um, the, the practice of law is just that. Remember that when if you're practicing law
Or anything.
or any other job, um, you're practicing,
Right.
and there's always going to be problems, and there's always going to be bumps in the road.
Right. So, how would you tell anyone in any profession? One of the keys is to be prepared. How would you suggest people are prepared in life, or in a career, or at any job?
Do your homework. Do your homework. They don't give you homework in school for fun. What they're trying to tell you to do or trying to teach you to do is to teach you to get prepared, and that's by doing your homework. Read up on the subject matter. Read up, uh, analyze your facts, analyze your people,
Right.
and that's how you get prepared.
And the third one that you said was work hard. And I think that people forget that, success is when hard work and opportunity meet. How do you actually find, how do you end up having a good work ethic? How do people work hard? I mean, I look at myself all the time, like you and mom taught me to work hard, but I don't know that everyone has as much of a work ethic that I have or that you have. How does someone gain that work ethic where your employers can actually see how hard you're working and that you're prepared and that you have a good work ethic?
Well, it's a hard question.
I
There,
ask some hard questions. I'm good at asking
there are
hard questions.
people that just have it in their character within themselves to work hard, and there's people that don't. Those who don't are sometimes referred to as lazy or disinterested. But if you're one of the people that doesn't have it inborn or part of your character, then you have to work harder than, say, you or I might have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to develop a work ethic. And the way you do that is to set goals for yourself and allow time for you to become a better working person. That's not to say that you don't need family time and that you don't need fun time. You do. So, by all means, work hard, but play hard. You know, get a sport or play golf or go out with your friends or do something to relax that you really like to do. And family is most important. If you just work and you don't have anything to do with your family, then you've really missed out on a lot in life.
Yeah. So one of the things that I always think is so amazing about you and your friend group will say is that I think all of you used each other in the professions that you were in, and you loved referring different people who you knew, liked, and trusted because they were your friends and they were based in your friend group, and you still do that. I think that's almost a lost art these days, if I was to actually say that. And I think that that's a shame, because that is showing the hard work of one another in your friend group. And maybe that isn't a lost art, but I think the younger generations don't believe in it as much. They always want like the best price, or what's the sexiest, or what they deem as the best, where sometimes you know you have to, sometimes it costs when you don't go with somebody who you've been referred to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you had
Yes.
a group, you had a wealth planner that you constantly referred, a life insurance person, you had an insurance person, car, like you always had you were the go-to person of who to the lawyers, the doctors. How important do you think that is in today?
Well, just as important as it ever has been. Uh, the most the most important thing about the people you associate yourself with is that you can trust them. And the only way you figure out if you can trust people is by knowing them.
Right.
So, um, let's say you go play golf with somebody, and all of a sudden you see they're fluffing up the ball in the rough, or they're moving the ball to a better position. Well, you just learned several things. You learned that you can't trust them, that they cheat, uh, and that they can't be trusted. So you're not going to refer all of your clients or your favorite people, your family, to the people who cheat. So the most important thing when you're selecting these people is to find people that you can trust, that aren't affected, that aren't in it just for the money. It's not, by the way, there's nothing wrong with making money, nothing. But the first thing that you have to be able to do with these people is trust them. So, in terms of a stockbroker or a financial advisor, you want to find somebody that you can trust implicitly. In other words, they're not going to roll over the ball
Mm-hmm.
in the rough. What they're going to do is they're going to do what's best for you.
Right.
And the fees are important, but not as important as the trust. If you can't trust them, they're going to churn your account, which means turn it over just to make a commission. You don't want that. You want somebody that invests in the same things for themselves as they will for you and your clients. Same applies for
Accountant and everything
accountant,
else.
life insurance, anything else. Find people you can trust, and figuring out who you can trust is the hardest part.
Right. For sure. Who do you admire?
Well, I admire a lot of people, but if you said to me, who do you admire in the past, the distant past, I would say probably Abraham Lincoln, because he held the country together in the mid 1800s. He eliminated slavery. That was a big deal, and he risked everything, including
Right.
his life, to do it. And if you ask me who do I respect or who do I like in more recent times, um, that's another hard one. But I really do like Tucker Carlson.
Oh, really?
I
That's
like
surprising.
Tucker Carlson because he he stood up for what he believed in, and he was willing to forego his employment rather than not be free to speak his mind.
Right.
So freedom of speech in this country and really around the world is one of the most, if not the most important freedom that we have.
Right.
And so people who stand up for freedom are to be respected, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. If you weren't an attorney, what would you do?
If I was not an attorney, I would have wanted to be a surgeon. And
Why?
I always uh, I always loved biology in high school and in college, and I always felt that I had a talent for surgical procedures, for example, in biology. So I always wondered if I could have done it, should I have done it, and if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't say I would have been a surgeon, but I think I would have
Right.
tried a little harder to be a surgeon. And if I could be a surgeon, if I could go back and change everything around, I probably wouldn't do it. But if I was going to be anything else, I think I would have wanted to be a medical doctor
Right.
and
Well,
a
we always
surgeon.
tease you're a lawyer, a doctor, a priest, a little bit of everything.
Right. Now, I'm also in many cases I'm a psychiatrist as
Right.
well.
Yeah. I agree.
I always tell my clients when they come in and ask me these crazy psychiatric questions that I charge this much for my hourly rate for practice of law, and then I add about $50 an hour for psychiatric consultation.
True. True. I'm surprised that in the questions of the keys that you didn't say being calm, because I think that you feel being calm is important.
Yes. Well, it all depends on the type of job you have or the position you're in, but um, you have to be calm in emergencies, especially. And what I find is I'll get a migraine headache a day or two later,
Later.
but in the moment when the pressure's on and when the big decisions have to be made, you must be calm.
Right.
Very important.
Right. So what's in Vic Meitner's future? You've done
Having fun,
everything. Having fun.
having fun. I'm trying to practice law until they. I'm going to keep practicing law until I get it right.
Right, right, right. Well, we appreciate you being with everyone. Everyone always loves when you talk to us, and you always are so willing with your time. And I appreciate that. You're a great dad to have.
Oh, thank
Super
you.
lucky.
Glad to have you too.
So thanks for watching Grab Your Keys, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
I have a very special guest. Drew Meitner is my son. He's 23 years old, and I thought that we should have him on Grab Your Keys so that he can tell us what it's like to have a mom who has owned a mortgage company, who's been an entrepreneur, who hasn't made every basketball, tennis, or golf match, and talk to really moms and parents on what it's like to have a CEO and entrepreneurial mom.
What?
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You graduated from the University of Alabama.
Yep, and now I'm at Penn State to get my business MBA, and then we'll see what happens from there.
And graduate with your business MBA in May.
Yes.
So I'm super proud of Drew. I think he's amazing. And I think he can talk to people a lot about having a mom. I was a single mom with running. I opened up Centennial Lending in 2010. Drew was 10. Growing up, how was it to have a mom who was running a business?
I think growing up with a mom who's a boss in the mortgage industry, you witnessed a strong role model and who balances work and family.
Right. How did you think I balanced work and family? You can say I didn't balance it well at times.
No.
So we were touring Alabama, and you were 17 years old. And I tell this story all the time. And I said, I really liked the University of Alabama. And you said, what did you like? And I said, well, what's there not to like? And you said, Mom, you've been on your phone and you really haven't been here. How would you know that Alabama was like the best place to be? And I don't know if you know this, but that's one of the things that made me decide to sell CLG and merge with Success so that I could be more present mom. Did you think that once I transitioned and merged companies, could you see a difference that I was around more?
Yeah.
You could. And by then it didn't really make it that much of a difference, but I was there your whole senior year for the most part, and then for Allison. Yeah. So, who do you admire?
You, my grandpa, your dad.
Yeah. So,
Right.
do you think having a role model is important for people your generation?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. How do you learn from having mentors and role models?
Just listen to what they gotta say because most of the time they're right and you're wrong.
Well, most of the time you're right and they're wrong, but it takes a long time to understand that. What do you think people of your generation? I mean, you're 23. You're going to be buying a house in the next 5 years. Is that something you think people of your generation want to do? Is buy a house and build wealth in their homes? Or is that responsibility a lot to think about?
Yeah, that's a lot for now.
That's a lot for now.
I gotta worry about other stuff.
What are things that people at 23 are worrying about?
Getting a job, money,
Yeah.
where my life's gonna go.
Yeah, that's a lot for a 23-year-old for sure. I always think that boys and men and girls between 20 and 25 have it so hard because the expectation is so hard on you all. What was the most annoying thing growing up that you can say parents did or do or that I did?
No, you were a good mom.
I was a good mom. I am a good mom. Did you think it was important to have the study of, having someone drive you and pick you up from school and have the study of putting you to bed? Like, could you imagine, did that make an impression on your life or you didn't even really notice?
Yeah, I think where you sent me to school made an impact on my life.
Yeah, so you went to private Catholic school, Gwynedd, Mercy, and then LaSalle. How did they imprint your life?
Made some good friends and they taught me how to be a man.
Right? Good role models. They
Yeah.
taught you how to be a man. Yeah. What's your biggest achievement been so far in your life?
Graduating and making it into Penn State's program.
Right, that's a big program,
Yeah.
business program to get into, and you got into a 1-year MBA program,
Yeah.
which is fully entrenched, which is super exciting. What's in the future for Drew?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyone who wants anyone for business marketing, feel free to reach out. We'll put his information below. So, well, I just want you to know I'm super proud of you. I'm really glad that you were on this Grab Your Keys. And I think that it's really important for people to know that work-life balance is important, but you really have to put the time into your children. And you also need to do what's right in your heart. And that will allow your children to realize what's in their heart. And that's the most important thing. Don't you think?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, love you.
Love you too.